It's night 27, and after the unanimous clever blindside, everyone chats about making Final 5. Ryan says that it's surreal he made it so far again, and Allison is also pretty surprised. She also feels really proud of Kiana and Telly for making it this far as well, considering they were early boots in their seasons. Telly is really grateful to have experienced this game and hopes it's not over yet. Nicola laughs and says nobody wants to go home these next 2 days, so it'll be a really tough time for all of them. Kiana says that no matter what, she loves them all. Allison agrees and says nobody should feel bad about themselves if they end up going home. Kiana then goes to the fire to heat herself up a bit due to the chilly night, leaving the other 4 together. Telly then claims that their next move is pretty much set now. They got rid of Clever, which just leaves Kiana on the outs. Nicola says that this next vote has got to be Kiana since she has a great winning chance. She watched Kiana play hard pre-swap, and now she got to play under the radar in the merge. Heck, she only ever received 1 vote this whole season. Ryan says they are all locked in then for this Kiana vote. Allison later leaves Nicola, Ryan, and Telly to chat, which is great for them since they have wanted to talk together for a while now. Ryan says that this plan to get Kiana out is great because they can get Allison out at 4 and reach Final 3. Nicola has her doubts though, claiming that Allison is stronger in challenges than Kiana. If they see the opportunity to take out Allison this round, they should consider it. She might win Final 4 immunity, meaning one of the 3 of them have to go guaranteed. Telly begins to agree with Nicola's logic but is also afraid that Kiana could pull off a clutch win at 4. Ryan says that it's mostly just a gamble at this point, so they shouldn't think about immunity wins too much. Nicola still thinks it matters and says she is leaning more towards voting Allison. With the sun slowly rising, Nicola and Telly are still awake, and Nicola warns Telly about this next vote. She feels like Ryan is going to push Kiana to go because he knows Allison will never vote him out. That's why she pushed Allison's name to see his reaction, and he didn't seem too fond of it. Telly stands in silence, processing this information, and then tells Nicola that she doesn't think Ryan is flipping, but she can see why Ryan would want to keep Allison over Kiana. Nicola says that Kiana is more likely to target Ryan next round anyway, so keeping her might be better for the 2 of them. Telly says that no matter what, she still wants Final 3 with Ryan, but this Allison move could be a step in the right direction for them as an alliance. It's day 28, and it's time for the next immunity challenge. Allison returns her necklace to Justin, and he begins explaining the challenge rules. In this challenge, everyone will be in their own lane and must slide across a slide as quickly as possible to then retrieve an object. Then, they must take that object back to their bucket and place it inside so they can go get the next object. The first person to make 3 trips and have their 3 objects in their bucket will win immunity, safe from the vote. The challenge starts up, and everyone slides across to the other side. Kiana accidentally faceplants, which makes her last place currently. The other 4 pick up their objects and Allison leads as she runs back to her bucket while Ryan is in close second. Allison and Ryan are the first to put their object in the bucket and Telly is right behind. Nicola is behind after struggling to get up off of her slide from how slippery it is. Kiana meanwhile tries to catch up. Ryan and Allison continue to extend their lead as they both run back with their second objects. Kiana once again flops on her slide, extending her placement of dead last. Allison and Ryan both put their second objects into their bucket and then both slide across. It's a tight race between the 2 and Telly tries her best to catch up as she goes for her final object. Allison and Ryan grab their final object and race to their bucket, and Ryan is the first to put his object into his bucket, which means Ryan has 1 individual immunity. He kneels down, so happy that he won a crucial challenge. Allison meanwhile is upset as the necklace slipped right through her fingers. Justin puts the necklace on Ryan and lets him know he is guaranteed a spot in Final 4. As for the rest, someone will be voted out as the 18th person eliminated and the 7th member of the jury. Everyone heads back to camp to spend the rest of the time strategizing. At camp, Nicola gives Ryan a huge congratulations on such an epic challenge win, claiming that Allison was so close at winning yet another immunity. Ryan thanks her and says he feels very confident that they can reach Final 3 now. Nicola smiles and then tells him that this challenge really proved to her that Allison is a massive threat in the Final 4 challenge. Kiana came dead last today, which proves she can't win challenges. This is why she thinks Allison needs to go tonight, and then they vote Kiana out. Ryan seems hesitant but says he'll go through with it since there obviously isn't much of a difference anyway if they keep or get rid of Kiana. Meanwhile, Kiana notices that nobody wants to talk to her, making her think she's probably the easy vote tonight. She sees Telly join Ryan and Nicola and all three laughing together, basically confirming to her that those three are probably keeping each other. She decides to invade the conversation quickly and asks them what's up. Nicola tells her they were just talking about a specific move that needs to be made tonight, and that's voting out Allison. Telly adds that Allison is a huge challenge threat right now, so it's in everyone's best interest to vote her out now. Kiana agrees with this vote and says she's voting her in that case. It makes sense since she's pretty good in these challenges, and if she wins Final 4 immunity, nobody knows where her vote might go. Later on, Nicola talks with Allison, asking her how she's feeling. Allison says she's disappointed she lost, but she understands that no matter what, they have the numbers to take out Kiana. She's the odd one out after the clever vote, so it should be simple as long as she doesn't have an idol. Nicola confirms that it's 4 votes on Kiana since Telly and Ryan agreed to it. Kiana isn't getting much out of anyone. Allison feels good about this and tells her not to feel any way about her if she seems down. She is just really disappointed in herself for losing immunity today. Telly chats with Ryan, asking him if he still feels good about their Final 3 with Nicola. Ryan says he doesn't see a problem with it, but Telly shares she's nervous that Nicola might flip on them at Final 4. She already tried flipping on them right before merge during the Josie boot round, so she's clearly threatened by them. This round might be the perfect round for her to get rid of the queen. Ryan tells Telly he's not worried about it because he doesn't think Nicola has a close relationship with Allison. This is actually why he thinks they should vote Kiana and not Allison. They have 3 guaranteed votes on Kiana, even if Nicola flips. But, if they vote Allison, Kiana and Nicola can vote Telly, which might guarantee she goes home. Telly sighs and says it's essentially a gamble for them because they also have to consider how Allison excels in immunity challenges. Ryan tells her it shouldn't be an issue if Allison wants to go to Final 3 with them. They can vote out Nicola at Final 4 if she wins immunity. Telly doesn't say much in response as she considers her options carefully. A bit later, Ryan finds Kiana alone and decides to talk with her. He asks her how she feels right now, and Kiana tells him she doesn't feel good at all. She feels like this game is being handed to Telly right now, and they have a clear shot at her. She knows he's close to Telly, but he needs to cut her before Final 3. That time is now. She could win Final 4 immunity, which essentially hands her this whole season. She controlled so many votes in the pre-merge and merge which nobody else can claim. Ryan looks very concerned though, not feeling great about a flip on Telly. He still asks her who she thinks they can convince, and Kiana says he can use his close relationship to Allison and get her to join them in this vote. Allison isn't close to Telly after all. Nicola is pretty close to Telly, so they can use that as a reason to vote Telly, and maybe Allison will jump on board. Ryan says they can introduce this idea to Allison to see how she'll react, and Kiana is keen on this. They later join Allison by the fire pit, asking her for her opinion on this new plan to take out Telly. Kiana explains how Telly is the front runner to win and she's already locked in with Nicola for Final 3. Allison turns to Ryan, asking him what he thinks, and Ryan admits he's worried about Telly's win equity compared to everyone else. If she reaches Final 3, she is 100% winning the game. Allison says that if they are very sure of voting Telly, she will do it too. She wants to make a big move tonight anyway, so Telly is definitely that big move. Kiana locks this in with Ryan and Allison, shaking hands with them. Night 28, and everyone arrives to tribal council and sit down. Justin welcomes the jury of 6, introducing Clever as the newest addition. Justin then turns to the final 5, congratulating them for reaching day 28. Of course, there are still 2 votes to get through, so he asks Nicola to tell him how intense this end game is for her on a scale from 1 to 10, and Nicola says she's feeling like it's a solid 7. All 5 of them are calm personalities, so there isn't anything crazy going on, but the gameplay is on high. Telly agrees and says that there are many plans floating around constantly, but of course, all but one is fake for each person. Justin asks Ryan if being in a position with immunity gives him the upper hand over everyone else, and Ryan says it definitely does. One aspect of this game is survival, and now that he's immune at this stage of the game, he can pull off any move he wants. Justin turns to Kiana, asking her if she feels like Ryan has the most power right now, and Kiana says he definitely does. A lot of people know he's the least paranoid tonight, so he's probably the easiest to approach with a plan. Everyone else nods, so Justin asks Ryan if that makes his decision tonight harder. Ryan says it's always a hard decision in the endgame. It sucks to crush someone's game 28 days in, but he knows what has to be done tonight to get him to Final 3 and hopefully have a decent chance of winning. Justin asks Allison if she thinks there's anything anyone can do right now to increase their winning chances, and Allison simply says that people have to consider who the best winner candidate is. But, at the same time, it's more of a question of when you can pull off such a move on them. Sometimes, you need to be patient with it. Telly squints, knowing very well Allison is talking about her, so Justin asks Telly if she knows who Allison is talking about. Telly claims she doesn't know who Allison would consider the biggest jury threat. Everyone has a different perspective of this game. Maybe it's her, or maybe it's Nicola, or maybe it's Ryan. It could be anyone. The other aspect that needs to be considered is how to get to Final 3. Sometimes, your biggest threat might just be your biggest ally and best chance to reach the end. People like taking big shots, but it's not always the smartest if they are your close ally. Ryan looks at Telly and then looks back at Justin, and Justin tells the final 5 that it's time to vote.
I'll tally the votes. If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and they want to play it, now would be the last time to do so. Alright, I'll read the votes. First vote. Telly. Allison. 1 vote Telly, 1 vote Allison. Allison. That's 2 votes Allison, 1 vote Telly. Telly. We're tied, 2 votes Allison, 2 votes Telly, 1 vote left. 18th person voted out of Survivor Second Chances and the 7th member of our jury. Telly.
Nicola and Telly immediately gasp at the blind side and Allison breathes out, looking back at Telly. Ryan looks away as he can't get himself to look at Telly after voting her out. Telly asks who did it, and Nicola says it wasn't her. All the while, Ryan and Kiana are silent. Telly gets up, still really shocked, and goes to grab her torch while Nicola tries to hug her. She tells Telly she didn't do it and Telly remains quiet. She puts her torch down next to Justin and he snuffs it. Telly leaves without a word and Nicola frowns, telling the other 3 that they played this so well that neither of them saw that coming. Justin tells the final 4 to head back to camp for their final round of gameplay, so they all make their way back. Telly's final thoughts. Telly is still processing the move against her, finally understanding that Ryan did her dirty. She knows she's the biggest jury threat left in the game, but she never expected Ryan to lie to her fact as really close friends. In fact, she expected Nicola to flip on her more. Now that she's a juror, she doesn't really know what to consider when voting for a winner. She thinks Ryan and Nicola are playing the best game since they are more active than the other 2, but if Kiana or Allison surprise her in the end, she might just vote one of them to win. It all depends on how things play out and how their final speeches go.